Okay, let's try this. Hopefully that you are back. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, probably user error. Oh, it just flashed off. Oh, and it came back on. Wonderful. Well, I hope things are going well with you. Not going so easy out here today, but we're finally getting there. So let's start again. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. Um, had a little bit of music. Maybe I'll play you the tune that I had picked out a little bit later, or maybe a different one. But welcome, one and all. Please know that Unity of Lexington is uh, glad that you're here, wherever you are on your path, and that your prayers are taken into the highest level of consciousness. So if you have any prayer requests, you'll find a place to do that on the website. And there's also a little button on the website that'll ask you if you'd like to support Unity of Lexington through the giving and donation. And that would be a part of what we're talking about today. So I hope you have an opportunity to check in. And if you didn't get a chance to hear this in a live broadcast, maybe you can go on to Facebook and take a look at it later. So today I want to talk about abundance, and abundance meaning how much you have, and prosperity meaning how much you give. All right, I'm still getting texts here. Let's see what they say. All right. Hmm. Okay. We'll see if we're on. Anyway, I'm going to talk through this, and if you get a chance where you actually are hearing me, please feel free to give me a call or a text so that I know that we're broadcasting. Okay. All right. So I just give you some information that has been helpful to me, and maybe a story or two. So I am consciously or unconsciously involved in the exchange of the law of prosperity, the giving and receiving of the universal message, the universal good, that which I draw to me by the vibration that I exhibit, that I exude. Excuse me. So you've all heard this quote, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Well, I think that you can't opt out of knowing what the truth is, nor being involved in the exchange of giving and receiving. Once you know the truth about something, it's impossible to unknow it. So here's a truth. Everything, absolutely everything that comes into my life is an opportunity for me to exercise my God image, my God energy. Every person I meet, every story I hear, every compliment, and every judgment I receive is an opportunity. This I learned from my sister, Karen. Now, tell you a little story about my sister, Karen. What I want to tell you is that um, as I remember it, my sister Karen Ann was born a few years after me, I think 5 or so, and she was still in grade school while I was already out of high school. So I didn't get to know her very deeply until we became adults. Now, Karen was married to a fella named Mike who very early in life um, they just they had children very early, right out of high school, and my sister was forced to grow up very quickly. And there was a lot of questions in her life because she was a young woman who was already in the role of motherhood. So she was forced to mature quickly. She raised 4 daughters and took very little time for herself. She gave often and in abundance. She tried her very best to do the right thing at every turn. And yet life seemed to keep throwing curveballs at her. I liken it to the story of Job, where she was so much time spent trying to figure out what life wanted from her, what the universe was calling for her to do. She worked outside the home as well as mothering her children. Her family moved from a little rental to the tiny little house they purchased, and then they moved yet again. And finally, they, they moved into some measure of success and affluence, and they have this beautiful 4-bedroom home on several acres of land with a swimming pool. And it was wonderful. Finally, some things were happening for Karen that were going her way. And then Michael got sick, her husband, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And he finally got better. He had a rare blood condition, and then when he got better, he went back to work, and he was what was, for all intents and purposes, electrocuted. He got in contact with a live wire, and it should have killed him. But it certainly threw a lot of hardship into the family. Later on, as they were trying to make all ends meet and do everything that they needed to do for the children, Mike got sick again. And they, again, couldn't figure out what the issue was. Finally, after Michael was going to restart his life and get back to the person that he was prior to all this illness and electricity, he went out on Easter weekend, hit a patch of black ice, and was involved in a head-on collision. Michael was very badly injured, and they didn't know if he was going to make it. He was in and out of consciousness for a long period of time, and then finally, on the day they were going to move him out of the hospital and into a recovery area, like a rehabilitation home, he passed. And I asked my sister, "What are you going to do? How are you doing it?" And she replied, "I'll do what is in front of me. I will handle the next thing, and I will do the best that I can with the best that I have." Later, her daughters married, and grandchildren came into her life, and she loved them with passion. Again, my sister showed great strength as she tried to help in every way that she could. This attitude of being grateful for what she has and her willingness to give of herself brought a real measure of happiness into her life, even during the hopeless times. Karen always had a smile on her face and offering something that she might give. Now, my sister doesn't practice a religion or even a certain philosophy of life, but I think that if she did, I'd probably check out that philosophy or that religion because of how much her attitude has helped her. The universe operates through dynamic exchange. You see, everything that Karen did to help others seemed to come back to her in some way, somehow, eventually. Giving and receiving are two different aspects of the same universe. Our willingness to give what we seek brings abundance into our lives. So know the truth, and the truth will set you free. We all must come to, in order to be realized beings, we must come to know that truth. And because life and energy of itself does not end, we have the opportunity to exercise our God image, who we really are in our essence. And so we know that there are ways to look at this fascinating law. One is the concept of planting seeds. You must plant the seeds of the product in which you want to harvest in order for that to become helpful to you to get what you're wanting out of that particular crop or that garden or those seeds. So in the book of Acts, we read, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And as we know in the translation from the Aramaic, the word tovehun means maybe to be joyous, to be happy. And we are most happy, I think, when we are in service, when we are helping others, when we are in a position to give. So, another little story about giving, and it says it all. This is a story that I'll share with you in a little more detail. So there was a man who got lost in the desert, and after wandering around for a long time, his throat became very dry. And about that time, he saw a little shack in the distance. He made his way over to the shack and found a water pump with a small jug of water and a note which read, "Pour all the water in the jug into the top of the pump to prime it. If you do this, you will receive all the water you need." Now the man had a choice. He could either drink the water that was in the small jug, or if he trusted the note and poured all the water into the pump, and it worked, and he would all the water that he needed. So, what do we do when we come to a position in our lives when we're asked to give? Do we give with a little bit? Do we pour all the water that's in the jug? Do we take the idea that there is enough in my life that I might share with others? So, I don't know if any of you remember the Kingston Trio, who actually wrote a song about that story. Now, I'm not a singer per se, so I'm going to tell you how that song goes, or I'm going to read it to you like a poem. How's that? So here's how it goes. I was traveling west of Buckskin on my way to a cattle run, crossed the little cactus desert under a hot, blistering sun. I was thirsty down to my toenails, stopped to rest on a stump. But I tell you, I just couldn't believe it when I saw that water pump. I took it to be a mirage at first. It'd fool a thirsty man. Then I saw a note stuck inside a baking powder can. The pump is old, the note began, but she works, so give her a try. I put a new washer in her. You may find her the leather dry. You've got to prime the pump. You've got to have faith and believe. You've got to give yourself before you're worthy to receive. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face and cool your feet. Leave the bottle full for others. Thank you kindly, Desert Pete. Yeah, you have to prime the pump. Work the handle like there's a fire. Under the rock you'll find some water left in a bitters jar. Now, there's just enough to prime it with, so don't go drinking first. Just put it in and pump like mad, and buddy, you'll quench your thirst. You've got to prime the pump. You must have faith and believe. You've got to give of yourself before you're worthy to receive. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face and cool your feet. Leave the bottle full for others. Thank you kindly, Desert Pete. Well, I found the jar, I tell you. Nothing ever prettier to my eye. It was tempted to just drink it down, 'cause the pump looked mighty dry. But the note went on, have faith, my friend, there's water down below. You got to give it to really get. I'm the one who ought to know. So I poured in the jar and started pumping, and I heard a beautiful sound of water bubbling and splashing up out of that hole in the ground. Then I took off my shoes and drunk my fill of that cool, refreshing treat. I thanked the Lord. I thanked the pump, and I thanked old Desert Pete. You've got to prime the pump. You've got to have faith and believe. You've got to give of yourself before you're worthy to receive. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face and cool your feet. Leave the bottle full for others. Thank you kindly, Texas Pete. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face and cool your feet. Leave the bottle for others. Thank you kindly, Desert Pete. The law of giving and receiving is about priming the pump. If we don't begin to put into life what we hope to get out of it. You remember the biblical story about the woman in the temple who only had 2 pence, and she gave this little bit that she had, and the Christ consciousness of Jesus said, I tell you this day, this woman is far more blessed in the house of God, that she gave what she had, rather than those who give a lot and make a big deal out of it. So the law of giving and receiving is not optional. We are engaged in it whether we think we are or not. The universe will get its measure. It has to. It's the law. It's not that some are lucky and others are not. It's just that some in abundance and others have a prosperous way of thinking. So, by the way, my sister um, is happier than ever. She has a new boyfriend in her life, and she still lives in that beautiful home on the big parcel of land, and her grandchildren and daughters with their lives come and visit her often. You see, whatever we give into the world, we set up a vibratory rate, and that vibratory action is in harmony with our highest good. It's always there. It's always waiting for us. It's always sitting there accepting everything that we're willing to give. And the more we're willing to give, the more it is willing to give back. So let me leave you with a couple of interesting pieces of understanding. So what if you said, I will put the law of giving and receiving into effect by making a commitment and to take the following steps. Number one, wherever I go and whomever I encounter, I will bring them a gift. The gift may be a compliment, it may be a flower, it may be a prayer, it may be a smile, it may be a hello. But I'm giving it as a gift, not a matter of course. Number two, I will give something to everyone I come in contact with. And so I will begin the process of circulating joy, wealth, and affluence in my life, and I will give into the lives of others. Three, today I will be grateful and I will gratefully receive all the gifts that life has to offer me. See, we don't have to be just in the part of giving all the time, although it's nice to give, but we have to be open to receive as well. We'll talk more about that next week. Number four, I will receive the gifts of nature, sunlight, the sounds of birds singing, spring showers, and the first snow of winter. Number five, I will also be open to receiving from others, whether it be in the form of material gift, money, a compliment, or a prayer. I am willing to enter into the exchange of giving and receiving. And we must be able to receive to make more room for that person to give. I will make a commitment to keep wealth circulating in my life by giving and receiving life's most precious gifts. The gifts of caring, of affection, of appreciation, and of love. And 7, each time I meet someone, I will silently wish them happiness, joy, and laughter. Oh, and one more thing. You might also want to carry a jug of water around if you ever need to prime the pump. So next week, I'm going to talk about the receiving part. And in the meantime, maybe you would like to engage in a giving part. And one of the ways that you can give is to Unity of Lexington. This ministry has been here for you through thick and thin. It's provided you with some great spiritual messages and insights. And maybe you could find it in your heart and in your own prosperity thinking to give a little so that we can continue to bring to you spiritual unfolding and to do with it as you wish. So it's been my delight and my honor to be with you today. I have another little song that I'd like to play for you on the way out. And but before we get into that, I want you to know our prayer for protection. And that is the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, I am. All is well when we know that we're not alone and we're working through this life with the most powerful understanding of this law. All is well. We know that there's more than enough, and as Daniel Nahmod would put it, we'll listen to the way.
There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do, your infinite love will prove more than enough. There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? infinite love. Let the world know the truth. Whatever we choose to do, your infinite love will prove more than enough, more than enough, more than enough.
Okay, don't forget to find that donate button and help us provide you with more inspiration. And we will see you next week when we'll talk about the other half of this concept and conversation called receiving. Until then, have a blessed day.